Today.
Yes, he seems to have been handling everything up till now. His scrums were much improved last week. He packed them in and got the ball in quickly. And then we saw a tidier game because of it. And I think he's learned from that.
Both teams are as per programme. So the coach for Redcliffe in John Barber has decided that he won't use Terry Webb early in the match. He'll obviously keep him for a little bit later. And he does have Mark Murray on the line too. And Fortitude Valley, on the other hand, have a whole heap of reserves over there. They take up just about half the grandstand. There's plenty of them there, but more about that later. Here's Redcliffe losing the ball, and so we have a scrum coming up about 11 metres short of the halfway mark in Redcliffe territory. The first scrum of the match coming up. And already there's a player down for Redcliffe, and I think it's Richie Paulson, their front rower. Yes, it is, but he's quickly in a... So now the scrum to pack down. In by Valley's halfback, in Colin, in by Rossi Henrik. But a penalty coming to Redcliffe. First scrum of the match. Referee Ward. Kick will find touch, so play will come up to just about a metre inside Fortitude Valley territory, and that's where they're going to take the tap. Moving on to the mark is Dave Brown, the winger, who had plenty of work last week in that match against Eastern Suburbs. Acquitted himself fairly well too. Lost here, flying through the air as Vic Ty lost the ball. Let's see who comes away with it. Players going in all directions. It's Big Al McGuinness, the man to get up and play it just inside Redcliffe territory. So away from dummy half, it's Brian Niebling. Niebling well wrapped up over there. Plenty of Redcliffe defence into getting.
Very interesting to see that Redcliffe on 2 occasions have dropped the ball on 2 occasions.
So turning it back inside, Colin Part sends it, or rather Rossi Henrik sends it away to Lewis, and then on it went. Valley's with Russell Klein playing it. Carockin from dummy half sends it back over there to Moore, Robert Moore, the lock forward coming through. Here's Lewis. Spins it away to Hickey. Hickey, it's going to be intercepted by Steve Jerry. This will be the first try of the match. Jerry up over the quarter line, racing for the try, and Redcliffe in for the first try of the match. An intercept by Steve Jerry. It looked pretty easy. Not a great deal to talk about with that try.
No, it was quick. He nearly hooked that one away. He has hooked it away.
Away to the left-hand side of the uprights. Fails. Could be a valuable 2 points later on in the meeting. In this, the first half, and Redcliffe's lead is 6 points to 0. Couple of metres inside Valley territory now. Away from dummy half, Fullerton Smith. Dummy half is Bernardin. Over then to Boxall. Boxall wrapped up. Bernardin again. Crossover to Colin Parts. Bleakley then to Kahn. Paul Kahn a couple of metres in from touch. Now away from the dummy half goes Bleakley. Part is the dummy half this time though. Back to Bernardin. He's going to kick this time. Back over the top. Russell Klein lets it bounce. Where does it go? Straight into the hands of the winger Brown, but he's lost it. But a penalty to Valleys now. Ruled offside. Well, Russell Klein let it bounce, and Wooshka, here it goes again.
Yes, and bad play really from Redcliffe, even though Brown was offside. He had a chance to recover. Look at this. He takes it and then promptly drops it.
Looks over his shoulder to see the arm pointing towards a Valley penalty. Set out.
I'm sorry, Bill, for that type of play, you should be penalised.
So back over there to Rossi Henrik. Then on to the front row, Walker. Dummy half, Carockin. Henrik. Back the other way to Robert Moore. Looked a bit dangerous there. Carockin. Back over to Lewis. Lewis back inside to no one. Valley's not very cohesive here at the moment. Walker. Dummy half, Niebling. Henrik. He's going to try for touch, but straight to force to the fullback. Henrik slips out of Henrik's tackle, gets out of Arnold's tackle. Eventually McGuinness puts him down about 5 metres from the halfway mark. Dummy half, Bleakley. Vic Ty to the halfway line. Niebling over the top. Henrik underneath. Bernardin. Over to Fullerton Smith. Still going. Now away to Cherry. Cherry out of Laurie's tackle. Can't get away from Darren Morris though. Almost into touch, but still going. Chapman from dummy half. Back to Bernardin. Then away to Part. Outside to Paul Kahn. Kahn out of Henrik's tackle, but bowled over by Walker. Dummy half, Colin Parts. Right on the quarter line. Away he goes. The little fella sneaking his way through. He's right through. He's in for the try. Colin Part. How did he get through? I don't know, but he's there.
Unbelievable.
So now it's John Chapman back, about to shoot for goal, and is successful. Underway now as Terry Webb puts it up nice and high. Valley's coming from the southern end of the ground. That's where the wind was before, Mick, but it's died away quite well. There's still some there, but certainly not as strong as it was at the start of the game.
No, not at all. Well, let's hope Strudwick's galvanised this Valley side into a bit of action.
Well, they'll need to. They're trailing by 14 points at this stage. But as we're just talking the half-time break, Mick, as you said, a couple of quick tries, and it's a whole new ball game. But we'll wait and see how it goes. This is Wally Lewis now, Brian Niebling. Niebling just about on the quarter line. Here's Lewis. He's going to put the boot underneath it, driving it back behind Brown, but he'll go round now to be able to chop it off okay. And he decides to have a bit of a run. Lewis is up there first.
And you covered that nicely. A bit of a run. Didn't accelerate at all.
Away from dummy half is forced to the fullback. There's Lewis. He's obviously going to lead by example here. He's got into most of the tackles in this early part. That's Paul Kahn. Dummy half waiting for it is Bernarden. Bernarden back over to Boxall.
Boxall's taken the ball up all day strongly. He did against East last week also.
Now they'll swing it back to Terry Webb. Right off the side of the boot, this one from Terry. His kicking in the first half was one of the features of the Redcliffe game.
On that occasion, I think he had too long to think about what he was going to do. It wasn't a reflex action.
Redcliffe ball here. That's Colin Part. He's through again. The little halfback. Now stepping around, but quickly knocked down from behind by Ben Johnson. Had a couple of players outside who were just about linking up with him too. Penalty. Penalty right back over in the centre there.
Offside play, Bill. I think it was a lock forward up there for Robert Moore for Wallies, and he was standing about 2 or 3 metres in front of Ward. And this will put one nail in the coffin for Valleys if he kicks this one, Chapman.
Well, he should be able to kick it too. His tally today is 3 from 4, John Chapman. And one he did miss was a pretty easy one also. Reminder too, Mick, next week's grand finals in the lower grades. In the third grade, it'll be Easts playing Wests. In the reserve grade, it'll be Easts playing Souths. And in the A grade, it'll be Easts
playing someone.
Which is very rapidly developing into being Redcliffe.
A grand effort from East to have 3 teams in the grand final. A, reserve and C's.
Certainly Redcliffe will firm dramatically if Chapman puts this over. Makes it a very tall order for the Diehards. We know they have a diehard spirit, but that it certainly put it to the test. And it will. There's 16 points to 0. Redcliffe leading at Lane Park at this stage.
Quietly slipped away from them.
So now we see knock on back there. Shane Bernarden away to John Boxall again. Dummy half Bernarden. Back over to Bleakley, then to Fullerton Smith. Bleakley again. Henrik reeling back there, obviously copped something. Referee didn't worry about it, however. Just let it play continue. Boxall, plenty of room to move up there for the second rower. Dummy half is Shane Bernarden, so in a couple of play the balls, Mick, they're back to the halfway mark, Redcliffe. Paul Kahn, Mitch Brennan. Flying through the air there was... Kahn's let one go at Al McGuinness over that.
My word, he did. He's the protector. Here it is. It's the back of the elbow. More accidental, I feel, than anything.
Penalty. Play coming up to just on the Redcliffe quarter line. So they'll take the tap from there. Redcliffe leading by 16 points to 0. Russell Klein forced back on that occasion. Dummy half is Corocan. Corocan back to Walker. Tenacious Redcliffe defence.
Was a little bit stirred up with that incident.
So now it's back to Henrik. Outside to Lewis going one way without the ball. And so it's a Redcliffe ball now. Cherry away from dummy half. Just can't get it going today, the Diehards. Away from dummy half, Shane Bernard. McGuinness coming across, back inside to Bleakley. McGuinness throwing Bernard to the ground, then letting a little bit of a touch go at him, but Bernard just flaked right out then. And he's worked on that touch, judge, over there. Hit from the far side has come in. Meanwhile, this is Mitch Brennan. They've lost it, Redcliffe. It can't be picked up by Corocan, who's grabbed and thrown away by Bleakley anyway.
Well, this game could get done. There's the touch judge this side. Mr. Sainsbury.
So now we'll see Redcliffe in possession, about to take the tap, about 8 metres short of the halfway mark. And Redcliffe leading by 16 points to 0. This is Boxall. He's taken it up all day, as Mick was saying it previously, and he's done a good job with it. Dummy half is Bleakley. Back over to Colin Parts. Then to Bernarden. Then Paul Kahn. Kahn tackled a couple of metres short of halfway. Dummy half is Wally Fullerton Smith. Pulled to the ground by Henrik. Bernarden again. Back over to Benson.
Redcliffe still running too far in that ruck for my liking. Bally should be knocking them over earlier than that.
So now back to Parts, Bleakley, Brennan. Mitch Brennan finds the gap nicely. He's starting to move, looking around for support. He's decided to run it out. He's away from Lewis and eventually caught up by Geordie Laurie and forced into touch. Park. And the time ticking away now. And of course, as the time ticks away, the chances of making the grand final getting better and better. They were pretty good some time ago, but they're just about there without any trouble now. Bernarden back over to Fullerton Smith. Bernarden again as dummy half. Griffiths. Dummy half will be Bernarden. Back to Griffiths. Griffiths over to Cherry. Cherry tackled by Lewis. Dummy half is Forster. Forster, head down. Only about 5 metres out now. Fullerton Smith to dummy half. Over to Bernarden. Bernarden with a little kick. Walker's back there, but he can't get a hand to it. Nork and Chapman. But a double knock on in there, so we'll have a scrum about to pack down.
Well, that was very close for Valleys on that occasion. If Redcliffe were more alert, they could have had another 4 points.
Down they go. Parts across to Bleakley. Bleakley trying to cut back inside. On to Colin Part again. Cherry. Cherry back inside now. And he'll get it to Fullerton Smith. Fullerton Smith a couple of metres out. Dummy half waiting for it is Mitch Brennan. Players flying in all directions. Griffiths ends up with it. Now the head down here by Bernarden, but he can't get it down.
Actually, would have been better served to flip it back to someone on the burst.
Al McGuinness returning to the field for Fortitude Valley from the Valley line to be fed by Ross Henrik. Henrik away then to McGuinness.
Biggest 5'8" in Australia at present.
Not the fastest either. That's Lewis. Back over to Hickey. Mick Hickey charging his way through. Dummy half is Lewis. Over there to Scott Nichols, but a penalty coming up to Valleys. Penalties, by the way, at Redcliffe way 13-6. So it'll be Lewis. Free play to 12 metres inside Redcliffe territory. Nichols to take the tap and runs out. Corocan's up as dummy half. Henrik back over to McGuinness. McGuinness about 30 metres out now. Going through there is Robert Moore. Dummy half Karockin puts in a little kick. He's no chance of going after it. Griffiths barreled into him. And the referee's going to award the penalty. Shouldered into him after he'd kicked it. He wouldn't have been no need to have done it. I don't think there was any chance of getting there anyway.
No, there's no recovery on there at all. Actually, the nearest player would have been Wally Lewis.
So Valleys will obviously take a tap from there. And Lewis sends a big, long one to Russell Klein, who flicks it back over his shoulder. Hickey can't get to it. Brown got a toe to it. Now it's taken up by Steve Cherry. Cherry's only got to get a bounce, and he does, and he's away, and this is all the ball game now as Cherry strolls away to score the try, and Redcliffe lead by 20-0.
He dropped the ball because Brown came in and tackled him. And then Mick Hickey came and tried to recover. And then Cherry just kicked it through. It was Brown first, and then the beautiful bounce. Oh, the gods are smiling on Redcliffe this afternoon at Lang Park.
Well, I think they gave them a chance, Mick, but I don't think anyone would have thought a gold medal. And then on Wednesday night, it's Dalian night. Here's Forster up to the halfway mark. Tackled by Geordie Laurie, though. Dummy half moving up this time is Bleakley. Bleakley to Bernard, and then away to Griffiths. Crowd starting to chant for Redcliffe. It's taken them a while to find their voice, but they found it now. That's Terry Webb. Webb up and away again, and why not? Walker eventually puts him over. Bernard to dummy half. Back on then to Boxall. Geez, worked hard, but there has been room to move up the centre there.
Yes, and he's utilised it beautifully, and here Fullerton Smith's utilising it as well.
No one at home there for Valleys at all. Here's the final tackle on its way. Over then to Bernarden. A bit too far this one, although it's starting to come back a bit. Laurie's under a bit of pressure, but oh, he lost it. Picked up by Brown, and he's in. Yes, Brown in for a try.
Oh, rubbing salt into the wound.
Geordie Laurie.
And here it is. Actually, I thought Webb had kicked that one far too far. Or was it Bernarden who kicked it? Bernarden, rather. And Geordie Laurie makes a complete mess of it. And Brown says, thank you very much. Picks it up all afternoon to do that.
From 7 attempts, which is not a bad effort. He's on his way. Ooh, he's muffed this one, though. A man of the match coming up at the conclusion of this game. He gets a Sabre tracksuit and also that sports shirt. Don't forget, next week we'll have for the best player in all of the teams taking part in A, B and C grade next week. There's a full outfit from Sabre Sportswear, a tracksuit there for the best in both teams. So that'll be the best in East and West in third grade, East and Souths in reserve grade, and East and Redcliffe in A grade. And here's Nichols, almost away, but Terry Webb had him by the jersey. Sent the pass back along the ground. Lewis is there to dive on it. There's another replacement coming on in the Valley lineup. Player leaving is Hickey. Here's Wally Lewis kicking for touch, and is going to find it. So now we see Valleys in possession here. Or rather Redcliffe. Just on the quarter line. And not a great deal of fizz left in this match at the moment, Michael.
No, it's slowed right off and down, and knock-ons appearing.
So we have another scrum coming up just inside the quarter line. This is Lamb. Lamb gets it away this time to Nichols, back inside. Henrik couldn't handle it, couldn't hold it, and has knocked it on. And so we'll have a scrum once again.
Oh, that was close for Valleys. And a good bit of football too.
So now here's Colin Part sending it away to Bleakley. Back inside to Part, backing up nicely. But he's eventually put down by Russell Klein. Play from dummy half, Cherry. Shane Bernarden. Tackler there is Brian Niebling. Will Griffiths loses it. Also going to be lost by Brian Niebling. Lewis flicking it around. It's Henrik. Knocked it back. Lewis up as dummy half. Lewis away then to Geordie Laurie. Dummy half Lamb. Lamb back over to Henrik. Lewis and away to Ben Johnson. Dummy half Perry Mason to Lewis. Henrik taken ball and all, but got it back to McGuinness. McGuinness deciding to have a run. Tackled by Cherry, then a pass to no one. Eventually Laurie retrieves with a penalty coming up to Redcliffe.
Held back, trying to go in for the tackle.
So just under 12 minutes remaining in the match.
Cherry feeling a hamstring. I think he's got a slight hamstring there. The centre for Redcliffe.
It'd be wise to
give it a miss. He's worried about it.
Dave Brown takes it up. Dummy half. Here's Bernarden again. That's Griffiths. Griffiths tackled there by Perry Mason together with Niebling. Part, Bleakley, then Brennan to Brown. He seems to be everywhere at the moment.
He had to run 40 metres to get across field into that movement.
Forster's up there too. This is Brennan again. But he's knocked it on, and so we'll have a scrum just about on the halfway mark.
Ten minutes to go. It's just to be seen whether Valleys can cross Redcliffe's line now.
Scott Lewis is on for Valleys. Taking the place of Geordie Laurie. Scott Lewis for Geordie Laurie. Lamb has gone back to fullback, I'd say. So Lewis back onto Niebling. Perry Mason. Lloyd Allen is on for Redcliffe. Playing at number 21, so there's
Bernarden's probably gone. I can't see Bernarden out there.
Plenty of reserves on there. This is Lewis. Got it back, picked up by Walker. Walker put to the ground right on the quarter. This is the final tackle. Bernarden is off, replaced by Lloyd Allen. Lloyd Allen for Bernarden in the Redcliffe lineup. Here's the kick by Henrik. Back there is Forster and Chapman. The ball rolls loose in the in-goal area. Dived on and a try. Try by Scott Nichols. Dived on it there on the in-goal area.
And Valleys crossing the line of Redcliffe. They've been trying and trying, and it came from the bomb. Henrik putting it up nicely. And out of the melee of players, Valleys score the try.
And Terry Webb puts the ball in play. Taken back there by Lamb. Breaks out of the tackle. Perry Mason's up as dummy half. Lewis. Scott Lewis lost. McGuinness. Flew off Redcliffe player's foot, so it's another 6 tackles. Wally Lewis. Back on to Moore. Dummy half is Karockin. Karockin back to Perry Mason. Upended.
Been very good defence in the middle from Redcliffe today. It's been a feature of their play, actually.
And it's been one of the bad features of the Valley play, hasn't it?
Non-existent, that's true.
Throwing it about a bit here, but not getting too far. Wally Lewis wrapped up. Still 30 metres out from their own line, the Diehards. Brian Niebling. Walker. Mason. They get it going, though. This is Scott Nichols. Out it goes to Klein. Klein back inside. Oh, Forster comes away with it after all of that. Players going everywhere. Away from dummy half is Colin Part. On to Terry Webb. Well, Mick, just looking towards next week. It's been an improved performance from Redcliffe today. The question now is whether they can turn the tables on the Tigers.
Yes, well, of course, once again, hasn't been a real rugged afternoon for Redcliffe. It's been a good sort of a training run, actually, and I feel it could do them nothing but good. As I said this morning, that run last week certainly didn't do Redcliffe any harm, and they seem to have come out sharper than ever. Their handling did improve, although they still had blemishes, and they've got to get a few things or get their act together before they come up against East, because East are a pretty classy bunch, and they're not small, they're big, and they're rather fast.
That's Peter Lamb coming away with it for Valleys after a bomb there by Terry Webb.
But looking at the overall Redcliffe side, there weren't any weaknesses in it today at all.
Here's Terry Carrocken on the bustle. Now sends it away to Ben Johnson. Johnson's being chased by Colin Parr, but he's got too much start, and he's going to be in for the try, Ben Johnson. Valley's in for another one. Redcliffe leading by 26 points to 10.
Well, of course, Barber won't like this happening. Redcliffe letting Valleys get into the game, not into the game, but getting a few points on the board. They should go in and finish it off. And this fellow Johnson's got a lot more speed than people give him credit for, and he's not a small guy either. But well done by Part to chase him all the way along.
There's Lewis waiting underneath. Chapman, the one that came in over the top. Now that's Peter Lamb. Tackled. Now watch it from here. Points to 10. Back it comes this time to Wally Lewis, Scott Lewis. Johnson can't get to it. Double knock on in there also. Dave Brown was trying to get a hold of it, but he's knocked it on too.
Comes away limping a little bit.
Might have a chance now to give you the scoring in the match for Redcliffe. Tries, 4 of them for Redcliffe today. Steve Cherry, 2 tries. Colin Part and also Dave Brown on the wing, a try. And in the kicking department, Chapman 5 goals from 8. For Valleys, 2 tries. Nichols a try. Johnson a try. We've seen Morris none from 1. Darren Morris and Perry Mason 1 goal from 2 attempts. Scrum in the match have gone Valleys' way by 15 to 12. The penalties, Redcliffe way by 14 to 7. 4 scrum penalties to Redcliffe and 1 to Valleys. In the missed tackle department, Valleys 21 missed tackles to Redcliffe 9. I'd say those 21 would have been up the middle there somewhere.
Yes.
And Redcliffe have lost the ball 24 occasions, Valleys 22. So once again, that handling for Redcliffe will need to be tidied up on.
Yes, I was saying that, Bill, when I was summing up, and the game's degenerated a bit as a final because of the score. Redcliffe certainly got it sewn up, and they've eased back a little, which they shouldn't, quite frankly. They should have really been able to put the pressure on, and I know Eastern Suburbs, if they were hit the lead, they really throw it around. Be very interesting to see what happens next week.
Terry Carrocken takes a tap back over to the little halfback there in Henrik. On to Brian Niebling. Niebling put down about 12 metres out from the Redcliffe line. Wally Lewis turns it on this time to Walker. Walker pulled down a couple of metres out. Carrocken's up his dummy half. Big long one over the top. Lamb running in on it. Got away from Paul Kahn. Sends a bad pass that eventually is picked up by Moore. He'll get away to Nichols, and this will be a try, will it? And no try. No try, back onto the quarter line. When he took the ball, he seemed to have a bit of room to move there, Mick.
Yes, it should have been a try. A bad handling.
Back onto the quarter line meanwhile. Coming up as the dummy half there is Allen for Redcliffe, having a bit of a run through.
I don't think we're going to have a little look at that other one, unfortunately.
Here's Bleakley now from the dummy half. Bleakley up to a couple of metres short of halfway. Dummy half is John Chapman, the winger. Minute and a half remaining in this match now. Parts. Paul Kahn, he's going to put the boot underneath it. Russell Klein is back there. Kahn must have been decked in the back play after he kicked it. John Chapman lining up for the penalty, and he's successful. That makes it 28 points to 10. Successful with yet another. Don't forget, of course, another reminder, the Rothmans Gold Medal from the Crest Hotel tomorrow night at 9:30 on TVO. And then on Wednesday night, you'll be able to find out our Dally M Superstar winner and also, of course, our super team from the Dally M Awards on Wednesday night, also at 9. The Manly will be playing in that one, Michael, will they?
Well, it's to be hoped.
Well, they are. Well, they're in there now. It's full time in Sydney, so they're in. So they're